Hello. Today I'm going to speak about global warming. I'm a very big fan of plants and ecosystems in the world we live in. Imagine living in a world where the temperature is increasing almost every day, getting hotter and hotter, making it harder to function. Eventually, crops won't grow because of the extreme heat and we can no longer eat. Sounds like the end of the world, right? Well, this has been happening over a long period of time, and it's affecting many living things throughout our world. It's called global warming. Global warming can be described as a gradual increase in the Earth's atmosphere. One may ask, why has it been happening? And scientists know exactly why. It's called the greenhouse effect. Global warming starts when carbon dioxide and many other pollutants, like greenhouse gases, fill in the atmosphere and collect all this sunlight. And that's why the planet is rising in temperature. These gases do not release into space. That's why the planet is warming up. If they did, then we wouldn't have global warming. Instead, these pollutants last for centuries, trapping heat and heating up our planet. Another cause for the Earth heating up is by burning fossil fuels. When we burn fossil fuels, we release 2 billion tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. Since the early 1900s, the climate has been incurring many changes. If we continue on this destructive path, many creatures will be on the verge of extinction. Between rising temperatures and rising sea levels, various species are quickly realizing that the Earth is changing, and they have nowhere else to go. As we look throughout the world, we can observe many different disasters. For example, floods, droughts, heat waves, and wildfires are a result of the rapid increase of temperature. Global warming not only affects the entire planet, but it affects the ecosystem and many different species throughout. An example of a species quickly losing their ecosystem is polar bears and penguins. These creatures are on a constant search for a place to call home, but it's very difficult because these are, as you know, polar bears and penguins are cold ecosystem. They live in the cold and they rely on ice for land. But due to the rising temperatures, the ice is quickly melting away. So they're on a constant search for new ice to call home. But according to the International Conservation for Nature, 11 out of 17 species of penguins are on the verge of extinction. That's almost all of the species of penguins. It's crazy. But emperor and Adelie penguins are the most endangered of the species of penguins. A second issue is polar bears drowning due to the melting ice. Like I said earlier, that they live in a cold climate and the ice is melting and they have nowhere to go. So they end up swimming for miles and miles until they find ice, but they most of them drown. That's a big problem. But there are countless animals and habitats endangered besides the cold climates. Global warming has caused many effects to aquatic life as well. Due to the shrinking glaciers, the rivers' currents have decreased in size and decreased, causing the river currents have decreased, so they slowed down, and it's a big problem for migrating species like trout, like salmon. They swim upstream and then they swim back into the ocean. But due to the currents, it makes it very difficult for them. And also, due to the temperatures, water temperatures are rising, which is not good for the species in these ecosystems. But due to this rising temperatures, the prediction is that there's going to be a massive fish death. And this can cause many problems for us and aquatic life in the food chains. For example, polar bears will end up maybe end up eating each other, cannibalism, due to the lack of fish. But there are thousands and hundreds of other species impacted by global warming. If we don't do something about it, our lives will be endangered, and as well as theirs. At some point throughout this speech, you're probably wondering, what can you do to prevent this disaster and maybe lessen it? But there are many things you can do. Small things, actually, throughout your daily life. One way to lessen the effects of global warming is the carpool. It's easy, it's simple, it saves you gas money, It saves you headaches of driving everywhere with the idiot people throughout the world. So carpooling can save you money, and it could also save the environment because by carpooling you release less toxic pollutants into the air by burning fossil fuels. So that lessens it out. That's a great method to lessen the effects of global warming. Another method to drastically lessen the effect of global warming is to recycle. It's easy. It's well known. Everyone does it. Not everyone, but if you do it, it can save the environment. Like for me, I have a recyclable bin in my house, and any plastic or anything gets tossed in there, and I think it makes a big effect. Thirdly, you can switch to more energy efficient light bulbs. It can save your electricity bill, so your electricity bill's less. They last a lot longer, and it saves the environment. And people may not really realize how these effects, how these small changes in your daily life can really affect the environment, and for the better actually, and save it, because it's really going downhill. You can tell because the ice caps are melting and causing the earth is heating up, and it's causing many problems for species, even us, because our crops can die, the animals can die. So it's a very serious thing, and it needs to be looked at in a different perspective. But if everyone takes a small little portion and does the right thing, they can lessen the effects of global warming and therefore saving our planet. And I hope you learned a little bit from this speech, and hopefully you can change the way you live on a daily basis and make some small steps into saving our environment and our world. Thank you.